Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/infidelity, where OP's wife is now having a panic attack because OP filed for divorce. Let's begin. Am I the asshole for leaving the restaurant after my sister flirted with my girlfriend and made her uncomfortable? Posted by Reddit user Different Face.
I've had this account for a bit, but I prefer lurking instead of posting. My sister Haley is a very open and flirty person. She's never put a label on her sexuality, but she has said she's attracted to everyone. Ever since we were in high school, she'd often flirt with girls I was interested in. She'd also flirt with my friends when they'd come over to hang out. Sometimes Haley would even come into my room without knocking just to talk to them. It was very uncomfortable, and some of my friends even stopped coming over to my house because of it. This made me really angry, and I told our parents, but they'd always say I'm being homophobic and to leave her alone so she'd always get away with it. A few months after she graduated, she moved out of the house and I haven't had to deal with her flirting with my friends anymore. 7 months ago, I met my now girlfriend Layla and we really hit it off. We've been together a little over 4 months. One thing to note about Layla is that she's really shy, so she's never voices any concerns until after the fact. Well, I really wanted her to meet my parents, so we set up a quick dinner at a nice restaurant on Tuesday night. Without even telling me, my parents invited Haley, who was almost 30 minutes late. For the better part of the dinner, she would constantly flirt with my girlfriend. She'd give Layla compliments about her clothing, body, facial features, and even offer her number multiple times. My parents would just laugh along with her antics, saying it's just how she normally is, but I could clearly see Layla was uncomfortable, so I paid my side of the bill and took her home. When we got to her house, I asked if I could spend the night and she said yes, and that's where I've been for the past few days. My parents and Haley have been blowing up my phone, calling me all sorts of names, which has me thinking I was in the wrong. I haven't answered any of my sister's messages, but I told my mom where I am. When I asked Layla about it, she said the compliments were nice at first, but she got uncomfortable. So am I the asshole for making a big deal out of my sister flirting with my girlfriend? Edit to add, I didn't put my reasoning. Sorry. My parents think I'm an asshole for ignoring my sister's messages and an even bigger asshole for walking out of the restaurant. They say I was entitled and rude. Does this make me the asshole? Now for OP's first update. Apologies for posting this on my main page. I tried to post an update through the Am I the Asshole subreddit, but it wouldn't let me. Sorry, this update took a few days. I'm still reeling from everything that happened. First of all, I want to thank all the people who left comments and judgments. I won't say much as I'm sure you all want to know what happened. It's a lot. I'm still disgusted and don't really know how to feel about all this. Friday night I messaged my mom and dad to let them know I wouldn't be conversing with them unless Layla was given an apology. Up to this point, that still hasn't been received and I don't think it ever will. I also let them know I'd be stopping by on Saturday to pick up my things from the house. Well, Saturday morning I went over to the house and brought my girlfriend's dad, who we'll call Carl, to help me. Sitting on the porch is my sister, who tells me immediately she wants to talk. Anyways, we go inside and sit down, which is when she says she has to tell me something without me freaking out. Basically, in a much more dimmed down version, my sister tells me she has had feelings for me since high school. Which is when I started going to the gym and slimming out a lot more. She said the main reason she flirted with all my friends is because she wanted to divert her attraction somewhere else. According to her, this is also the reason she moved out so quickly, because she couldn't stand being around me and knowing she couldn't have me. I left. I didn't get any of my stuff, and honestly, I don't know if I'll go back to get it. I blocked my sister on everything as soon as I got back to my girlfriend's house, and my mom keeps messaging me telling me to apologize for walking out again. I don't know how to feel. I'm absolutely disgusted. I feel like throwing up all the time, and I'm not sure how I'm supposed to get up and go to work tomorrow like everything's normal. I haven't told my GF or her dad yet, and I don't know if I'm going to. I have no idea if my mom or dad knows, but even thinking about it makes my head hurt. This is so much worse than I thought it was. WTF. I know a lot of people might start commenting about how this is fake, and I don't really care. I wish it was. And now for OP's update. So it's been a week. I'm not sure how many people are going to see this, but whoever does, hi. After my last post, I didn't answer many comments because I was still going through the motions of what was said. I wanted to get a quick update out last week, but things got in the way, which led us to here. Last Tuesday I messaged my parents telling them everything my sister had told me. It wasn't until Thursday I got a reply where they called me all sorts of names. They said I was perverted, a liar, a man-child, etc. However, after messaging back and forth with them for a while, it came out on my mom's side that my sister confirmed my story and wanted me to say it was false because neither of them wanted to believe it. It's safe to say I have no intention of talking to either of them for a long time. I told my girlfriend everything on Tuesday as well. She was a lot more supportive than I initially thought, so that worked out pretty well. On Friday, we told her father and we started looking for apartments to move in together. As for all my things back at my parents' house, my girlfriend's dad and a few of my friends went to pick up my stuff without me. I gave them a list of all the necessary things. My friends don't know why I moved out, but just that it was serious and not to ask. Which leads us to today. I know a few people on my update post commented about this being fake, and as much as I wish it wasn't, this is the hell I'm living in. Over the past week I've been looking back to my sister and I's relationship and realized a lot of stuff that isn't normal. I'd give examples, but I just want this to be over with. Thanks for the support, and this'll probably be the last update.
Well, it's a shame that your parents' denial has lost them to you. It's clear that they have favorites and they'd rather believe that they raised a disgusting lying pervert than to just admit there's something wrong with their daughter. OP, your sister needs help and your parents being in denial isn't helping anyone. But that's no longer your problem. Good luck, man. And now for today's second story. I saw my wife for the first time in 2 months today, since the day she told me she had an affair. Posted by Reddit user Shruggy Shuggy.
My wife has recently said she wants to separate. The words she used were a trial separation because she needs her own space for a bit to figure out what she wants, and she has admitted she doesn't know what this is yet. We have spoken very openly about the issues we've had over the past year or so, and honestly, I was relieved because I felt similarly and wanted change. However, I do not want a separation or for our marriage to end. We're in a bit of a tricky living situation though, as we have been living with her parents. I am not from the country we live in and don't have much of a support network close by, no friends or family that I can move in with. She has found a month-long house sit and her parents have been lovely to me and said I'm welcome to stay as long as I like. They have a granny flat that I'm staying in, so there's a bit of privacy. My wife and I also have 3 cats, so essentially someone needs to stay here for them because if we both find our own rental or something, they wouldn't have anywhere to go. The issue I'm facing is that I want to be fully supportive of my wife through this. We're still essentially on good terms, but she knows I want reconciliation at some point and she feels bad that she doesn't know. We went out for dinner last night, but I'll be honest, I found it very difficult knowing we're not on the same page. I feel like for me I need to essentially completely cut ties with her for a period because hanging on to what might be false hope while still seeing her is quite hard and fills me with sadness. I actually wish I could move away to another city or even back home. The problem is that I absolutely love my job here. I'm self-employed though, so relocating would be easy. I'm just aware how much I'd be losing on the job front because of how grateful I am that I love it. I also feel like I need to move out of her parents' house, as much as I love them and their dog and everything, in order to help myself through this and also give my wife the space she needs. If anyone has any ideas or advice, then I am all ears. Now for OP's first update. Context. I had come back from a month away overseas visiting family at the end of July. She was acting very distant and within a few days said things weren't working and that she wanted to separate to work on herself and her patterns of behavior. I listened, reflected on things I'd done and gave her that space. She told me about a month later that she had feelings for someone else. This obviously completely shook me to my core, and I said she either had to choose between seeing this person ever again or seeing me ever again. She told me a few days later, when she hit rock bottom, that she had seen him once again since that but had ended things. She insisted she still needed time and space on her own, and I said so do I now. She had recently reached out about reconciling, and I said there were lots of resources out there explaining what she would need to do for that to even be possible. One of the examples I gave is that I wanted proof that she had ended things and that she leave the job she works at him with, which would be very easy for her to do. She said she wouldn't do this and her best offer was just to chat with no conditions. I explained as she's the one who cheated. She shouldn't be the one setting the terms of engagement, and that was that. I found out through her friend last week that she is still seeing the other guy. I don't know if she has been seeing him this whole time or if she just jumped back to him after I rejected her advances to talk. After speaking to my mother-in-law, then talking to it with a friend, I decided to try to do the mature thing and offer to chat, which she has accepted. The problem now is that I'm finding the PTSD-like symptoms have come back, when I have been doing pretty well on that front recently. I don't really know what the point in us talking is other than to make her feel better. She's disrespected and hurt me so deeply that reconciling is an impossibility. I guess I'm just hoping it opens the door for us to be able to communicate properly about separating completely. It's also worth noting that both I and a therapist we have both been speaking to individually think she has BPD. So I honestly don't see how, even if she did try to win my trust back now, that I could ever fully trust her not to do the same in the future. And now for OP's final update. And honestly, I'm glad I did. Most of the comments here advised against it. Deep down I didn't want to do it. But I did. She is still downplaying that it was an affair and is blaming me for her feeling disconnected in the marriage. We're still planning on talking to a counselor together soon, to dissect things and have mediator there to keep things on track. There were a couple of times things could have gone south, but I didn't let any emotions get the better of me and would say that we should save this for when we're talking with a counselor. She tried to bait me a couple of times by saying things like, "See, this is just like in our marriage." I don't have a voice, but I didn't respond. She is in a very bad way mentally because of everything she has done. A while into the conversation, she got emotional a few times, but I just let her sit in. She knows she has fucked up and is fucking up, but I didn't offer her any emotional support at all. I said at one point though that I still cared about her because of the time we've had together, but with her being involved with another person, I'm done and she has to deal with it on her own. At the end, she even asked how I felt about meeting up like this again. I said no. Would be very different if we'd just separated and had taken this time on our own like I have. But again, because there's someone else involved, I have no interest in seeing if we can reconnect even as friends. The main thing I'm happy about though is that we have 3 cats together. One slightly older one and 2 younger brothers. I have said from the start I want the older one. I'm so attached to her, and for us splitting up, that's a fair way to do it. She had been very resistant to this, but I am currently house sitting for a friend. I have the cat with me now. She had a panic attack when I was leaving with the cat, which I think is just the reality of the situation setting in. But that's a good thing. As mean as it maybe sounds, meeting her just showed me in how much a better place I am than her. I know my worth and what I deserve, and it's so much better than her.
OP, chatting with her after the blatant disrespect she showed you is not the mature way. That's weak beta male bullshit. Whoever gave you that advice is an idiot. Listen man, what you did now is the right thing. You should have divorced her the very second you found out about the affair. One more thing you can do to really make sure she learns her lesson is to inform HR and let them know an affair between 2 of their employees. But for now, OP, I'm glad that you're growing your spine back. Don't ever lose it again. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.